Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you another video. All right, I want to thank James Harden for giving us something to talk about on this lovely Saturday summer day, because he decided that he does not, in fact, want to go to training camp for the Philadelphia 76ers, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, who just announced that to all of us right now. He don't want to play for the Sixers, and he does not want to come to camp. So he is, in fact, going to do what it is that I thought I remembered him saying, or not him saying, because it's never the player speaking, but it being said that he would be willing to go to training camp. That is not the case. So my speculation in regards to that, or my memory in regards to that, scratch it. He's not up for playing nice. He's going to play James Harden's role just like he always does when he wants to leave a place. He's going to make it hard for himself. And that's exactly what I see. He's going to make it hard on himself, man. Every time he does this, he makes it not easier to move him, but harder, because now people don't see him as a desirable piece, even more so than normal, based on the fact that he may be disgruntled when he gets to you. It now is also a situation where if you're trying to trade for him, you can very easily look at Philadelphia and say, okay, well, you have to take back whatever I give you for him, because he wants out of there, and we all know it. So he's making stuff hard on his old buddy, the GM there. He's making stuff real hard, and honestly, I don't know where this goes from here. Obviously, no one does, but I don't think it's going to be a situation where Daryl Morey just looks and says, "You know what, James? My good friend, who recently the situation just went sour over this job. I'm going to now take this that you're doing and do my very best to make impossible happen and send you exactly where you want to go." Like, that's not how this works. That's not how this works at all. So I think James Harden is in some trouble. I think he's in some real trouble, because if he's going to act up in Philly, there's a good chance nobody's going to want him. And if nobody wants him, he's going to find out how hard it is for guys like him. We already seen this with his boy Westbrook, and Westbrook wasn't even a bad sport about things. He just didn't perform well. And now he's working with a $4 million contract that we all know he should be probably making triple that for what we expect him to actually do for the Clippers. So, you know, it is what it is. They get to lowball you because of this type of crap, James. I don't know why you haven't learned this lesson over time, bro. I don't know why you wanted to go to Brooklyn. I don't know why you wanted to go to Philly. I don't know why you wanted to go either one of those places. But now that you're here wanting to leave Philly, I'm not surprised at all. And guess what? When you get to where you're going, I expect you to do the same thing when you get there, too. I don't know that this is one of them situations where I can legitimately say he's never going to find happiness. It's him. No, I don't think so. Not necessarily. I just think he keeps choosing bad places to go. And, of course, he's going to inevitably want to leave those places when he gets there. That's what I think. He's yet to pick a good spot for himself. So if I were James Harden, I'd do what I always tell people in his situation I would do. Go to the team that has the most flexibility to absorb whatever my contract is, what I guess his contract isn't crazy right now based on other contracts. So take whoever would take me back for my price tag, and then from there, who would have enough on top of that is what I'm trying to say. Team like Utah, San Antonio, those are the teams that come to mind first. Boston's always in the mix for that kind of thing, but not necessarily for his position, given the fact they just gave Jaylen Brown $300 million for 5 years. I do not see them wanting James Harden in any way, shape, or form. James Harden, you know, he's going to find out that his options aren't that much better than the one he's leaving in the grand scheme of things. You got the MVP right there. You got a good kid in Tyrese Maxey. You got an expiring contract with Tobias Harris. You got several other role players that are not so bad. Mo Bamba, who's likely going to play up his value. Plenty of bigs to back up Joel Embiid if for some reason he goes down. So it's like a lot of things there to make it so that James Harden will have the role that he's looking for with a lot of usage, because the nature of what it is that they do, he would obviously be a starting shooting guard who would be given the ball on a good portion of the time. Just like he had last year, he'd be in the same role, only it would be more so on him to do more, which is probably a good thing for a player like James Harden. So this is, in my mind, a strictly financial and unhappy with how things panned out situation, because if it were about strictly basketball, he's actually in a very good spot for himself this upcoming season. as the sidekick to the MVP, chasing after a championship in Philadelphia, that is a good situation. So in the midst of him trying to get the hell away from it, he needs to understand that he's not necessarily going to chase after a situation that's better than the one he's leaving. I don't think that. I don't think the Clippers are a better team than the Philadelphia 76ers right now, if he goes there. I don't think so. Not with my expectations upon Kawhi Leonard not being healthy. Paul George, I do believe that Paul George is obviously expected to play another good year of basketball, but he's also an injury risk in that situation. Don't love it. And then the role players of the Clippers, it's a lot of stuff there that you're not sure about. I just don't think that him and the injury concerns of those two other core pieces make for a better circumstance than Tyrese Maxey going into year, 4 or 5? Joel Embiid coming off an MVP season, healthy in the offseason. Himself healthy in the offseason. Tobias healthy in the offseason. Philly's healthy. So sometimes guys just overthink things because they want stuff that they shouldn't have. Respectfully, he shouldn't be paid no $40, $50 million at this stage in his career. But what he should be doing is looking for a situation, ironically enough, like Philadelphia, where he can have a big role in a contending team. I don't know if he finds out if he looks for other opportunities. I don't know that he's going to find one better than the one he's on. I don't know that he's going to find a better running mate than Joel. Where are you going? Like, that's what I tell him. You seriously choose. Let's think about this. If you want to go to the Clippers, you're choosing Paul George and Kawhi Leonard over Joel Embiid in 2023. That don't make sense to nobody at all when you really think about it. You know what I mean? That makes some sense to no. The Clippers, in the best case scenario, would be chosen by Joel Embiid to go to that team and recreate what it is you're running from. That's their best case scenario. That would be a dream come true for the Clippers, for them to get everything you have in Philly. And so it's like, you know what you're leaving, right? I'm not saying Philly's expected to win the championship, but you're not going to a better spot, man. You're not. And you're running away from somebody that you're unhappy with, but that person may be your best friend in the whole damn league. It's the irony of the whole situation. So it's like I don't know that Philly's not completely in the driver's seat based on the fact that James Harden don't really have a whole lot of leverage. And when you really zoom out and look at James Harden's situation, from a basketball standpoint, this is a very good one for him. He shouldn't be trying to leave here. He really shouldn't. Not based on what it is that the demand upon him is in the league. Nah. I'm not sure he's not going to go to another organization and find himself even less wanted than what he is in Philly. You're going to be less wanted in Clipperland than you. I don't know. You can't really tell guys nothing, man. You just got to let it play itself out. And I'm telling you, man, guys not getting championship rings has so much to do with the decisions they make, with teams they choose and stuff like this, as it does with how well they play. You know what I mean? But if I'm Philadelphia, they need to ask themselves how important Joel Embiid is to them. Because if you prioritize James Harden and holding James Harden hostage, just like you did with Ben Simmons, only to not get a good return for him, just like you didn't get for Ben Simmons. If I'm Joel Embiid, there's nothing more I would like than to say sayonara to you as soon as possible. I'm telling you, and I have a headache when I think about Joel Embiid's situation, because I just say, this is exactly what he was worried about on draft day. When he heard his name drafted to the Philadelphia 76ers and he had that long look on his face, this is the crap that was on the way for his reality. That look on his face was not in vain. It was about to suck for a long time, man. And if I could just go back in the past, I would tell him to pull a Steve Francis and demand the hell out there, bro. On draft night. Don't let yourself go there. Because if you see how it's going to pan out over the next 10 years, it's not going to be worth it. And here we are. And I'm telling you right now, whatever the heck the Philadelphia 76ers are about to do this season, it's getting off to a bad start yet again because of organizational decisions to play hardball with players and ultimately doesn't land them the best return in the end of it. They did it with Ben, as I've already said, and they're doing it with James, and it's not going to make them any richer of a franchise. So if I'm them, I'm getting rid of James Harden as an addition by subtraction piece. I don't need to get the best return for him because he's not my best player. He's not even my second best player, so I don't need to prioritize spiting him over the overall bigger picture of the franchise, which is most definitely Joel Embiid. So that's my thing. They have overemphasized their own ego in Philly, in my opinion. As a franchise owner, I don't know, I'm just telling you what it looks like from afar. When they had a problem with Ben Simmons, they prioritized making sure they won that battle over making sure Joel Embiid was straight. And I've seen them do this. They did it with, in my humble opinion, they've done it with more than them. It ain't just that. The Jimmy Butler situation was similar. That seemed like that was done out of spite. I mean, nobody in their right mind is going to choose Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler in any world, in any situation, any contract. It's just not going to happen. Only in Philly. And I know it was done with personalities in mind. It's just like, yo, if I'm Joel Embiid, I need to leave them and their ego to themselves, man. I don't have more years to give to them to win these little battles every year that they want to have with players. I'm sorry. Like, that's what it really comes down to Philly. If you were making better decisions, the players would have a more seamless decision to stay with you. It wouldn't be such static to begin with. They wouldn't demand the highest amount to stay with you because they know they're going to be in a situation where the team is going to use that money for the right stuff. I'm telling you, it all trickles down. And so if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers, it's reset time, man. It's reset time. Obviously, you're not getting rid of Joel. But it is time to move James Harden. It's not time to play hardball with James Harden for the best return, because at the end of the day, his price tag is skewed a lot by what it is that he's doing right now. Yet again, we want him even less now. As a Laker fan, I want him even less now. I have no interest in the Lakers making any trade, not even D'Angelo Russell, for James Harden at this point. I would rather keep D'Lo. He's more reliable. At least I know if D'Lo get upset, he's not going to act a fool to get the hell away from our situation, making it so that we can't get nothing in return for him. I'm cool. I will keep D'Lo over James Harden today. So that's where we at with James, man. I'm not here to bash James. Like I said, I don't think this is a situation where he can't find happiness. I just don't think that he understands fully all that there is bad to see about the circumstances that he chooses in the NBA. Like, bro, that Brooklyn situation was bad from the jump. Why? Because you don't play defense, and they didn't play defense. You weren't winning a ring there. Philadelphia situation was bad from the jump. Why? Because they're prioritizing you and Daryl Morey over Joel Embiid. Their priorities are screwed from the jump. You shouldn't want to be there. These are things I could have told him before he even decided to go to these places, yo. And I'm telling you right now, that Clipper situation is worse than the last two. I'd rather him be in Brooklyn with what they had last year before they made the trades than for him to go to the Clippers and play with those dudes who are going to be on the floor even less than you would expect those guys in Brooklyn were to be on the floor. Good decisions, James. Good decisions is what it's about, bro. Make good basketball decisions for yourself. You are a facilitator who can be highly efficient from 3 levels at this stage. Surround yourself with defensive players, guys who can score more than you, but also will allow you to get your 15, 20 shots on a given Sunday afternoon. Why aren't guys thinking like this? Why are guys thinking about other stuff at this stage in their career when they don't have no damn championship? You know what I'm saying? I get frustrated with James Harden. I get frustrated with James Harden near the playoff time when he disappears after putting up Michael Jordan numbers in the regular season. Suddenly he has no energy for the end of the year. I get frustrated with that. His disappearing acts are consistent. And I got to deal with this too when he gets unhappy. If I'm a franchise, why am I signing up for that? I'm not signing up for that. Daryl Morey, you stuck with that guy, and you playing hardball with that guy as it pertains to the field, trading for him, like you want to play hardball with us when it's time to trade for him, I guarantee you he's going to be sitting on your team. Think Bogdanovich in Detroit. As long as the price tag looks the same, he ain't moving. You can stand on that hill all you want, screaming that he cost 2 picks. I promise you, Bogdanovich is going to be there till he retires. That boy going to retire Detroit Piston until they come down off that price. And this is the same situation they're going to run into with James Harden at a different level. Because as long as you keep that price tag high, you can tell everybody he ain't, you're going to send him to camp to play with the Phillies team. You can say whatever you want about what's about to happen. But at the end of the day, it has to be about, is he a desirable piece for me if I'm a different team who can afford to trade for him? And I'm telling you right now, I would not give up a worse player for him right now. Nah, I ain't doing it. And the Clippers, I don't know if what we just saw was the Clippers saying, we're good. Not necessarily Philly saying, we're walking away from the table. But the Clippers just saying, you know what, this is just not really worth it for us. I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers actually walk away from that table saying that. Yeah. For me, I still think James Harden is a player who it ain't going to be difficult for him to do great things on the basketball floor. But when? It's a question. Am I going to get his best game when I need him to play his best game? Or am I going to get his best game against Paolo Banchero and the Magic and in some random day in January? Because that's when I expect James Harden to play his best, not when we're going up against the Celtics Game 7. That's the game I expect 5 points from him, 1 for 7 from the line. Like, I expect him to disappear. So if I have that mentality about him, if I'm a Clippers, I'm putting him next to Paul George, who has that same problem. I'm putting him next to Russell Westbrook, who we saw from him from LA. I'm putting him next to Kawhi Leonard, who plays 5 games a year. That's a dream for me. That's something I'm dreaming up. I want that. This is what I'm talking about. Like, that looks bad to me before it even happens. So when it doesn't work, it's still going to look bad to me. And that's how all of these situations look with James Harden to me. It's just one bad situation after another. So that's it, man. I don't really have a solution for that. James Harden gonna be sitting for a while, man. He ain't going nowhere. He gonna be in Philly for real. And it's not gonna be for any other reason than, yet again, people in this league don't understand what will lock up the trade market and what will open up the trade market. This behavior locks the market up for you. It makes it so that no one can move you because your price tag is compromised in ridiculous ways based on this action. Trade demands are not very successful a good portion of the time. Look at who's done it and look at when they get traded. It very rarely happens when someone actually demands it. The request is put out, the value is tanked because of it, and then they have to wait because of it. I don't think they see the correlation even now after seeing this application 7 to 8 times. People they're not getting it. Your trade demand keeps you from being traded. Period. So that's really where we at, man. James Harden is a frustrating guy to try to follow in this league, man, for a multitude of reasons. And I'm just glad he didn't find himself a Laker fan the whole time. Because we would have been so disappointed in this dude. Man. And I think in the grand scheme of things, when you look at how OKC's situation panned out, it wasn't the worst thing in the world for them to let him go to the Rockets. When you see where the history went, when you see how it all played out, yeah, they were probably better not paying James Harden. Not to say that their path got much better than that, but look where they are right now. They're okay, I'd say, to say the least. They're doing great, but the path would have been so much harder if they would have had this guy attached to their situation and he pulled this bull crap halfway through the KD Westbrook tenure. It wouldn't have worked. It would not have worked. And they would have never had the value that they ultimately found themselves with today because it wouldn't have trickled down to that. Because he probably would have been had to be traded for very little to nothing. So, listen, man. That's why I said to my Laker team into this camera about 6 months ago, bring me some dogs, man. Not everybody is going to be as talented as James Harden, but they got to want it. They got to have basketball in their mind, man. It can't be about give me money, or I just want to be as happy as I want to be, even though I'm not playing up to the level that I need to be playing in order for us to win. Stuff like that. Can't identify when the situation is actually better than the one I'm looking for. Let me get out of a good situation to get to a worse one. I don't have time as a basketball fan to believe in a player who has that path. You can help my team, but it can't be built around you. It can't be built around you, bro. It can't. You know what I'm saying? I understand I'm saying that about one of the best players come out of this city in LA. James Harden's a legend. I understand that. I know where I'm at. I know what he's done, but it just comes down to what he hasn't been able to accomplish. I would say he's underachieved for what it is that you expect for him to do. Not in individual accolades, because he's been an MVP candidate, won MVP. That stuff is great. But for the team concept, for someone who has the ability to make others better, like he definitely does, he has not lived up to the standards that I expect from him. And I'm only talking about the offensive side. We're not even talking about the defensive side. That's not where he's at his best. It's for what he's great at. We don't get enough of that. And it's all of this stuff that has to come with that. And I just don't think that's the way it should be. Nah, he hurts his own legacy when this is what ultimately comes of it. He hurts his own legacy. So that's what I gotta say, man. There was a time when we look at him and Steph Curry, and those are the two. That was it. It's him and Steph. And it's like James is falling so far from that. So far from that. And I know there's a lot of factors going into that, including officiating and how the game's being officiated, how he was able to take advantage of that in the past. But like just the same, for what it is that he can do. For what it is he can do, I know he can do more. I know he can play better, and I know that these antics, they don't make for him find himself in a good situation next. It doesn't. Wherever he gonna land, it's likely not gonna be that great either. So that's what I would say to James Harden, man. Just understand that the only way you're gonna get around this is not continuing to reinforce the same narrative that you're gonna act a fool anytime you're upset. If you can't overcome that demon, believe you me, it's gonna cost you massive amounts of money going forward. And it's been understood that he's already cost himself a lot of money with some of the decisions he's made, including this one with Daryl Morey. But it's only gonna get worse if he doesn't fly right. So this insubordinate stuff, if his representation is putting that out there that he's not going to report to camp, if that is what's happening, he needs to speak to his representation in regards to changing that narrative immediately. That is not what you want. You don't want people to reinforce the notion that you're going to do exactly what it is that we think you're going to do, because that's what's causing your value to plummet in the way that it has. So James Harden going to be making $4 million in his next contract, man. That's just what it is. I see that coming. They're going to drive his value to the absolute ground. And it's his fault. It's his fault for not first choosing better spots and then not acting a fool when the situation goes south. It's not that you have to play nice and just stay in a bad situation. It's just about how you position yourself to leave that situation and what the media is aware of and how they can manipulate that, from which they're aware, to factual information about who you are. And that's where we're at. Fat suit James Harden. And it's disappointing. It's disappointing because I've seen this movie too many times with too many different athletes that show their backside when they have power, and we know how it ends for them. They get blackballed all the way out the league. Think Dwight Howard. Seen it too many times. So that's where I'm at with that, man. James Harden, good luck. You know, Clippers, blow it up. Because if you're not getting James Harden, you're definitely not getting anywhere near a championship. So if you're not trading Kawhi Leonard, I don't know what you're doing. Truthfully. That should be the only... If you're not trading for James Harden, you need to be trading one of those two superstar forwards right now while they still have value. And I said that about a month ago. My stance on that remains. The Clippers need to either get older with James Harden or get younger with a rebuild. That's it. That's the only thing I accept from them. So everything else is just them sitting in no man's land, being Chicago West. And quite honestly, I don't think they're as reliable as Chicago's players. Not as reliable. So that's what I see there, man. Another team in no man's land going nowhere fast. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. That's my James Harden conversation for the day. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching.